Hi there. This is Tech Chick with another tech tip for this week. This week, we're going to look at pulling in a bunch of invoices into one invoice. I have a task that I need to do, which is to try to automate the process of creating a small business invoice off of several invoices. So, a good example would be like a construction company or a house flipping business where the house flippers would get subcontractor invoices, material invoices, time and material type invoices from those subcontractors and for themselves. So, what we're going to try to do is create an invoice for said company or a house flipping type company and pull in all those other invoices into one. So, I plan on doing this using an AI agent later on down the road. But for now, I think an Excel spreadsheet will work just fine. We just need to pull them all into one worksheet. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen here. And I've already done the homework to create some fake construction cabinets and material invoices here. So you can find this invoice. It's a template in Excel. So if you do a search under templates for construction, you'll find this construction proposal template. And what I did here is basically just created a fake construction invoice with these charges on it, something that maybe a carpenter would charge or put on an invoice. And these are just materials for that carpenter. And then same with the cabinets here. These are all the cabinet charges. This does not include their labor, just the charges for materials. Same with the construction, it's just charges for their materials. And then Home Depot, which is, again, materials or items needed for a kitchen remodel. So in order to do this, we have our three construction invoices here. What we're going to do is we're going to try to pull in the invoice that we want to create. So I've already started one and I changed up some information on it, like the address, phone number, personal information, because if you don't change that information, you have personal information on any of your content that you post to YouTube, they'll be blocked. So instead of risking this video being blocked, I went ahead and just put address here, phone number here, changed up all the PII, personal identification information, just in case you don't know what PII is, so that this video doesn't get blocked. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to bring my invoice over, which is this one. And I don't know if it's going to show up here. No, it's not. So let me pull it over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy this, make a copy of this into our other spreadsheet. So we're going to copy this, right click, and you want to right click on the tab down here and choose move or copy. And make sure you click on create a copy or it will move it and you'll lose it from this worksheet. And then we're going to move it to our construction invoices. And we're going to move it to the end. We'll just delete that sheet too. And then here's our invoice. So for some weird reason, and I don't know why this happens, but when you copy an invoice over, it doesn't always copy right. Like this is not, these are not the colors. So we'll go ahead and fix that. Let's go ahead and delete this. Let's move this invoice to the front because it's going to be our main invoice. And then I am just going to take it upon myself here to change the font, which for some reason I'm not seeing. Oh, there it is. We're just going to change this to Arial. We're going to leave whatever size it is. And we're going to change it to brown. And then this, we're going to change as well. So once we fix this all up, and you can select multiple fields. Let's do that. That way this will go by a bit faster. I'm going to try to select all of these if it'll let me. We're going to change all of these to the same color. Yeah. So here we're going to select brown. All right. So now we got the start of our invoice here. Oops, this one didn't get selected. Let's select all these, same thing. We're just changing the font here. And then these lines here, we're going to change to the other color. If it'll let me. Let's see. Oh, no. Let's Control Z out of there. You know what? We're going to do this another way. So we're going to do it with the border. I see if they'll let me select the border option. Try in here. We're going to select that and then the color, this, and then we're going to just do this. We don't want the top, just these lines here. Let's see if that did it. Yep, that worked. Okay, and that's what I wanted to do. So when you're working on I guess, a small business that flips houses, one of the things that we need to have here is we're going to need to add a couple of columns here. Let's go ahead and do that now. We need a column for total hours or items. And then this next one should be hourly rate or cost. And then our amount filled over here should be a formula. And this formula should equal, I think that is C11. Yeah, C11 times D11. Boom. All right. So as you can tell, we have no time in there. So I am just going to copy this, right click and select copy. And then we're going to paste that formula into these other fields here. Remember to paste formula. Let me just double check this. That's for other. Okay, the formula is still correct there. So that's what I wanted to see. So that's good. And then one more thing that we're going to do is we're going to change the color of this. We're really just looking to make this whole thing just two colors, really. So I'm going to right click on this and select like a light. Perfect. And now that we're set there, so some of the things that we might want to include here are architect's hours, right? And let's say the architect worked 11 hours on this project or on this kitchen remodel. And let's say they're billed out at 350. And then our amount should be automatically populated. Next one, let's say project manager for the kitchen remodel. And let's say they worked 25 hours on the project at $250 an hour. And then the other things that we're going to have to do is for our invoices here, we're going to have to add their hourly rates because these invoices are just for materials. So let's put that this is a subcontractor. I think it's supposed to be like a dash. And we're going to put construction because this is for a carpenter's hours. Let's say the carpenter worked 80 hours on this project. Let's say they make $50 an hour. And then the next one is another subcontractor. And the reason I'm walking through this is because I have to do this in real life. So I'm giving it a shot in Excel first. And then I'm going to see if I can automate this with an AI agent. Once I get that figured out, I'll be happy to share that on my channel. I'm hoping to figure it out sooner rather than later because I know AI is a hot topic right now. And so let's say that the cabinet, I guess the cabinet master, I don't even know what you call them, the person that installs cabinets, let's say they worked 46 hours at, I don't know, $65 an hour. And then a lot of the times when you're working on a construction project, we're going to have to insert, I think, a couple rows here. Let me insert another row. So a lot of the times when you're working on a project like this, there's going to be a need for permits. And I'm just making sure. So we're going to copy this because there's no formula for these cells here. So we're just copying the formulas from these cells. Let me make sure it changed that. Yep, that's right. Okay. So now we have our subcontractor fees, but this is supposed to be for cabinets. And we said 46 hours at 65 an hour. And that looks right. And the other thing that, yeah, I really don't like about this here is that this should probably be like this. So the next fee we're going to put down here is permit fees. And of course, it's changed the color on us again. So what we'll do is we're going to just scroll over here. And then we're also going to have to scroll to the end of here. You can see that this line here is not the right color. So format cells, you right click, go to format cells. Everything's set up correctly. We just need to add that line here. And we're done. And then the next one would be, so permit fees, we're saying, let's say there were 4. In real life, this will probably be different. And you can tell that this text isn't right. So let's change it to Arial. Size 11. That's right, but it still doesn't look right. Oh, I guess it's not right. It's supposed to be a different text. So what is that? Avenir next LX. Avenir. Let's look for that text. There we go. Yeah, now that looks correct. All right, and let's say there was 4 permits that cost, we'll say 250. Now in a normal home or construction type project, permits are probably going to be variable costs. They're not all going to cost the same, but for simplicity's sake, we're just going to say that they are for this example. And then the last one, let's just put materials here. And I would list everything here, right? So materials, so what this line is going to be is us pulling in the values from these 3 invoices. So construction is one, cabinets is another, and Home Depot is the third. And again, you can see this text is kind of off. I think it's just really, this isn't right. Now it is. And it looks like this is really what it should be. All right. So we're basically just trying to align this text to match the other text. We go here, you can see that they are displaying the text at the bottom of the cell, and they're left justifying it. And so we're doing the same with the others. So here's going to be the tricky part here is there is not going to be a total hours or an hourly rate for this one because it's just an invoice amount. So what we're going to do is get rid of this formula because this is going to be a totally different formula here. We're going to go to this invoice here and we're going to look for the total amount. So scroll all the way down. Here's the total here. So we're going to take that value. We're just going to click on that cell and then we're going to do a space and a plus. And then we're going to come over here and find the total for this, for the cabinet materials. We're going to scroll all the way down until we find the total and click on that cell. And it automatically populates it for us. Space and a plus. And the reason I put a space in here is because I think it makes it easier to read that way. And then we're going to click on the next tab, which is our last tab. We're going to scroll down and find, again, that total amount filled, which is right here. Click on that. And then just press in enter. And it should generate that amount for you automatically. And here it is. So Excel helped us automate this by pulling in invoices from other vendors or contractors, subcontractors. So we were able to pull in those invoices and then pull them into our main invoice here. So for now, Excel is a great tool to use for creating an invoice for your company because you can pull in other invoices into this worksheet. So this is a worksheet because it has multiple tabs here. And what I'd recommend is when you're creating your invoice, you pull in your separate invoices into this one main invoice to create your invoice from. And you can pull in values from these other invoices, which makes it really easy to automate and create your own invoice. And that's basically what we're doing here. So what we're going to do now is just scroll down and make sure these fields look correct or are being calculated correctly. So let's just take a look. So it's just saying invoice amount. It's saying to sum these up. And this should be everything in this amount column. That's why it says amount here. Let me just eyeball this. And yeah, it looks right. That amount looks right. It's summing up those values. And if I think it's saying if error, then just return a blank. But there's no error, so we're good there. This should be your sales tax rate. This is other charges, which we really don't have. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have this line in there because if you're a small company and you're creating an invoice for your customer, you're going to want to be descriptive as you possibly can be on what that charge is for to reduce the amount of calls that you get from your customers, right? It should be crystal clear what charge you are charging them for. So I would recommend providing details like we did above, like here's the architect hours, here's the project manager hours, here's the construction hours, the cabinet hours for install. All of those things should be listed item by item on your invoice so that your customer is crystal clear what they're being charged for. And then our total should take this amount plus this amount times sales tax. So let's see if it's doing that. So it's taking E17, which is that amount, and timesing it by 1, which is just going to be that amount plus that amount times E18, which is our sales tax rate. And that's right. That's exactly what it should do. And then it's also adding in the other expense line here, which we're not using. And again, it's saying if there's an error, just make it blank. And this is correct. So this is the total amount that we would be charging to our customer. And this is an easy way to automate your invoices. You could, and I know I'm doing the easy part here in Excel, but I think the most difficult part would be scanning in the invoices probably from other vendors, or maybe hand entering them in. If you don't have a way to scan those invoices in, just make sure you have a line item for each charge that you are going to charge your customer. That includes your subcontractors or your vendors that are also charging your customer. Just make sure there's a line item for each thing. And so one of the things I mentioned is that you can get this template here from within Excel, from the templates, if you search for construction, and you can get this template here. Same thing. I did a search for an Excel template. I just did a search for invoice, and I picked the one that I liked the best, and that was this one. And since we're trying to make this look like a small business, I'd recommend like inserting a picture here just to kind of make it look more professional. And I don't know why I'm not seeing a picture here. Interesting. I don't normally you can insert a picture, but for some strange reason, I am not seeing that here. I've never had a problem with this. Maybe it's just see if we can right click and insert that way. No, it just wants to insert cells. Let's see if we can figure this out. We don't have a need for a pivot chart. I'm just trying to find out how we can insert a picture. Oh, that's just to insert a cell. Let's see if we can search for picture. So normally when you insert a picture, it's going to be on this insert menu here, but it's not there. Again, it's telling me to do what I always do, but I'm not seeing anything that says to insert a picture. Interesting. Oh, well. And this is one thing that I've noticed with Excel as well. Uh, it's there are various bugs in here that really shouldn't be here. I don't know why it's not consistent. It just is really buggy. So I know that I've done this before. So you know what? Let me try another trick here. Yeah. And I'm wondering if it's just that I can't see it. So it could be that my screen is just too small. Do we see illustrations here? We go to insert, and do you see illustrations? Yeah, I don't even see that menu here. Weird. And my guess is that the reason we can't see it, oh, here it is. It was just hiding. Just gonna grab a stock image. Weird. I really thought it was a bug. I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong. And then we're just gonna pick something that looks like a homemade cabinet like this. Even in a minute to download here. We'll probably have to expand this column so the picture can show. I've asked it to insert it inside the cell. Interesting. I don't know why It looks so small, but that's okay. And there you go. And this is our custom invoice. So I hope that information was helpful and something you can use if you're running a small business on your own. If you like the videos that you watch on my channel, please subscribe. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you.